Hello and welcome to this total yoga session. Today we're going to be working on the center. As always, please do what you need to do, modify when you can, take rest when you need, pause the video if you need. When you're ready, start to come into a comfortable seat just so we can land here in this present moment. Wherever you are, sit up nice and tall. Imagine this little piece of string lifting the crown of the head up, slight tuck of the chin, shoulder blades back and down, hands resting where is comfortable. And then close down the eyes and just check in here and now. To notice how the body feels. Maybe have this awareness of your center. So not just your tummy muscles, your core, but your side, your back. Think about your whole torso, this trunk part of your body today. Notice the breath as it flows in. What parts of the center does it expand? And then notice your center softening as you breathe out. Just taking some quiet breaths to check in and maybe notice if an intention arises for your class today. With this focus on the center, a word like ignite or activate. Maybe a word you keep with you throughout class. Or maybe it's love and kindness or gratitude for your torso and your center. With whatever intention arises, or maybe nothing comes up, which is absolutely fine. We'll begin by bringing our hands to heart space, Anjali Mudra. We'll take a breath in and out to begin. So empty out the lungs. Then take a deep breath in. And then exhale out. Release the hands down, flutter the eyes open. And a breath option for today is lion's breath. So same as sort of sighing out through the mouth, but we then stick the tongue out and let out a bit of a ha sound. So we'll start by just inhaling through the nose and then just sigh it out through the mouth. Good, one more time. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. This time, inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, let the tongue hang out. Twice more, inhale. Exhale. Last one. Just pause for a moment and notice how you feel. Lion's breath is really good for the digestive system and the diaphragm, really moving that with the breath and just letting everything go with that exhale. Another option is to come into the full lion shape, which is where you bring the big toes to touch and knees out wide. Fingers back towards you. We have this lion pose here. So if you want to give this a go, come into this shape. We'll take a breath in through the nose and exhale out. Fabulous. Let's begin today by coming into extended child's pose. So big toes to touch, knees out wide, hips connecting with the heels, reaching the hands forward and letting the forehead kiss the mat or a block. And taking some gentle breaths here, another grounding shape before we begin to light a bit of fire in our center. So actively reach the hands forward and the tailbone back to get a nice length through the spine.
So part of our centre is also our side. So we're going to come into a side stretch. By lifting the head off the mat, coming up off those palms, we can walk our hands around to the right side, then letting the hands rest back down, forehead back down, and get a nice stretch on the left side. So the more actively you reach to the right with that left hand and reaching that left hip back, you'll get the stretch all the way from that left hip, up the left side, the shoulder and the left arm. You also get a gentle compression on the right side waist with your belly and thigh connecting. One breath in and out. Lifting the head, palms, and slowly walking the hands back through centre, and then over towards the left. Just check in with this side being slightly different before putting the head back down. Reaching that right hand over towards the left, right hip back, and a nice compression on the left thigh and left side waist. And taking some gentle, smooth and loving breaths in and out here. One more breath in and out. For walking the hands back through to centre, just let the forehead kiss the mat for 1 or 2 more breaths here, just letting the spine realign. And on your next inhale breath, you guide yourself back up, keep the toes and knees where they are, walk the hands back below the shoulders. And we'll take a variation of threading the needle today. So we're going to take the right hand and reach it forward today. Inhale to reach here, and exhale, threading the arm underneath the left, hovering the head and shoulders. Inhale to rise back up, reaching forward, and exhale, threading the needle under the left arm. One more time, inhale to reach up and forward, and then exhale, reaching under the left arm, this time coming down onto the right ear, right shoulder. Hips can be up high or further back, connecting with the heels if that feels nice. Option to take the left hand and reach it towards the top of the mat or up towards the ceiling. Hand can rest on the lower back or maybe top of the right thigh. And once you settle in, you might close down the eyes just for a breath or two. Noticing the centre in this shape. If you're taking a bind, just use an inhale to bring the hand up and placing it down just in front of the face, using the weight in that hand to help guide yourself back up, repositioning the hands. Really spread those fingers nice and wide, particularly in the right hand, before reaching the left hand forward. And the exhale breath, reaching under the right arm, hovering the head and the shoulders. Inhale, coming back up to reach forward. Exhale, underneath. Inhale last time to come up and reach forward. Then exhale, taking that hand and reaching as far as you can over towards the right, coming down onto your left ear, left shoulder. Right hand can stay where it is, or reach to the top, or up towards the ceiling, to your lower back, or to the top of the left thigh. Taking this option with the arm, just really opening up through that right shoulder to help twist and open up through the centre here. If you're taking a bind, just find the inhale that helps you return the right hand down. And the next inhale helps you rise back up. Bringing the hands down below you, knees back underneath the hips, tabletop position. So spread those fingers nice and wide, pushing the floor away, doming through the back slightly, bringing the belly button in towards the spine. And here we'll move into the spine with some cat and cow. So on your next inhale, drop the belly, gaze will come up, sit bones widen. Then exhale, round through the spine, crown of the head drops down, gaze towards your thighs or belly. Inhale to your cow shape. And exhale, rounding through the spine for cat, so sending that spine up towards the ceiling, pushing into the hands and tops of the feet. Maybe one more round. Returning to tabletop, bumping the hips to the right so you can gaze over your left shoulder towards the left corner of your mat. Feel this little squeeze on your left side. And then bumping the hips to the left, gaze over your right shoulder. And if that feels good, you can move here from side to side. Getting a nice stretch through the side waist. Another option is to come back to centre and keep the knees on the mat and pick up the feet. And let the feet swing from side to side. So this one allows for a little bit more freedom. The other option is more controlled. Taking one more breath. Gently returning yourself back to your tabletop here. Alright, let's start to light up a bit of fire in that centre by really spreading those fingers, pushing the upper body away, tuck the toes, and when you're ready, inhale, lift those knees and just hover. So we're a hovering table here, building up a bit of strength in the arms, the centre. Gaze straight down, maybe a bit of shaking going on, that prana, that energy flowing. And we'll just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently lowering those knees down, untuck the left toes, keep the right toes tucked and extend the right leg back. Keeping the toes on the mat so you can extend out through the right heel to get a nice stretch through the back of the right leg. And we'll continue this focus on the centre, but also opening up and strengthening the glutes. You're going to take your right foot out towards the side. Might come on to the sole of the foot here, pointing the toes towards the top of the mat. Or maybe it's nicer to point the toes towards the right. So just feel out here what feels nice. The leg, the core. And then using the core, imagine a semicircle behind you as you take the toes over towards the left, bend into the knee so it becomes then behind the left knee. And again, taking that semicircle back over towards the right. And then bringing it back to the left. Now you can start to move here in the semicircle from the right side to the left, using your core muscles to help with this movement, and also the glute muscles, getting a bit of strengthening and toning here too. Maybe one more semicircle. Then you'll bring the right foot up in between the hands at the top of the mat so you can come into a low lunge. You might move here to the hips, back and forth, side to side. You can be up on blocks to have a little bit more space. And then eventually we'll find some stillness with right knee over right ankle, gaze shining forward. Then from here we're going to rise up, so we're engaging the core to roll up. We might use the hands on the thigh or a block or a wall or something to help you come back up. So noticing with that front knee or front ankle, that left knee could be back further, or you might have the left hip over the left knee for a bit more stability. To go a little bit deeper into the lunge, just move the right foot forward. Then bringing prayer hands to heart space.
I'm going to twist to the right, so you're going to take your left elbow up and over to the outside of your right thigh, top of that knee. Really push into those palms together, so you can twist your torso towards the right side. And breathe here. Drawing that right shoulder back. Beautiful work. Inhale, brings you back to centre. And then we'll bring the hands down to the mat. Gate poses next. So we're going to start by taking the left foot around to the right, to a sort of 90-degree angle. Walking the hands around to the left towards the back of the mat. Straighten out your right leg. Pointing those toes towards the left and then pushing into the outside edge of that foot. Your left hand could be up on the fingers or flat palm or on a block. And then your right hand can reach on up towards the ceiling or maybe reaching towards the back edge of your mat. So a nice gate pose here. If you want to go a little bit further and really target our core muscles, on an inhale you're going to rise up, taking your right hand down to the right leg and reaching the left hand up and over. You're getting a nice stretch through this side. And we might flow with the breath here, so as we inhale, bring the left hand down and then exhale, reach the right hand forward or towards the back. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, reach. One more time, inhale. Next inhale brings you back up. And coming back with the hands at the back of the mat. So you can walk them around to the left, start to bend into that right knee, bringing left foot back around so you're back in that nice low lunge. Bringing the hands to the mat and then you can step your right foot back, returning to tabletop. So here you can take any movement or a rest if you need. Otherwise we'll go through all of that on the left side. So we'll start by tucking the left toes and extending out through the back of that heel. So getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg. And then we'll take the left foot out towards the left. Either again coming onto the sole of the foot, pointing the toes towards the top of the mat or towards the side. Using the core, your centre here to help guide the left foot back and around towards the right, bend into that knee so it hugs in behind the right. And then we can start to move here in this little semicircle to engage the core, the glutes, and most importantly the breath. Maybe one more semicircle. And then you'll bring that left foot up in between the hands so you can find your lunge on this side. So play around, take some gentle movement, feel into those hips. And eventually you'll find some stillness with left knee over left ankle, shining the heart forward. And again, option to use the hands on the knees or engage the core to rise on up. Still keeping that front knee over front ankle, so finding your alignment here. Hug the thighs towards the centre, so really think about the thigh really squeezing into the midline to help with your stability. Your core is on. And bringing prayer hands to heart space, push into that front big toe for stability as well. And then we'll take this right elbow up and over to the left thigh, pushing into the palms to open up through to this left side. Getting a nice twist through our centre. Observing the breath as it still flows. Next inhale, coming back through to centre. Hands will come to the mat and then gate pose on the right side. So right foot towards the left, walking around with the hands till they come to the back of the room. Sitting yourself up so that you can really feel your right hip over your right knee. Extend out through your left leg. So push into the outside edge of that left foot. Right hand to the mat, fingers or a block. Left hand reaching up or towards the back of the mat. An option to stay as you are, or starting to work into that core, and I'll guide you up. Left hand to the left thigh, right hand up and over. Nice stretch through this right side. So we'll start to flow with the breath. Inhale, bringing right hand down, reaching left hand. Inhale, bringing yourself back up. Right hand reaching towards the top of the mat. Inhale, come back down. Exhale, reaches the hand. Inhale, bring you back up. Exhale to reach. One more time. And then bring your hands back to the back of the mat. You can walk them around, bending into your left knee, bringing that right foot back so you can come back into your nice lunge. And we bring the hands to the mat, stepping your left foot back. Option to take a rest in a child's pose. Or if you're ready today, maybe your rest shape is a downward facing dog. So if you come to down dog, start to pedal it out. Stretching through the backs of the legs, noticing what goes on in your centre in this shape. So really seeing that heart towards your thighs, just the hips up nice and high. If you've taken a child's pose or a puppy, just making your way to down dog, where we can all take a loving breath in and out. Bring your feet to about hip distance, and you're going to shift the body weight forward so you find yourself in a high plank. That's where you are today, stay here, otherwise come to a low plank. Another option is to bring yourself down onto your forearms, to a dolphin plank with the knees lifted or lowered. We're going to stay, and I'm going to count us for 15 seconds. So sending your tailbone down towards your heels or your knees if they're lowered. Here we go, 15. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing those knees down, tummy on down, coming to Advasana. Either with the arms alongside you, ear to the mat, or stacking the hands to rest the forehead on, toes in, heels out, maybe shaking the hips, and taking some smooth breaths. Noticing that heart rate that's picked up, using our centre to hold in a plank variation. To repeat this video, you're always welcome to hold for longer. Keep challenging yourself each time. But for now, just taking a few moments with the breath. Another part of our centre is obviously our back as well. So our next shape will be using our back muscles to come into a back bend, but also a nice shape for opening up the whole front side of your body. So we're going to prepare for locust by bringing our chin to the mat, our arms alongside us, palms down, Feet out possibly a little bit wider. I'm going to empty out all the air, and on your next inhale, so a deep inhale, lifts everything off the mat. So it's just your pelvic bone, your hips, your tummy maybe on the mat as you reach the hands, reach the toes, reach the crown of the head up. And it's like you're flying here in this full locust shape. Every inhale maybe helps you lift that little bit higher. One more breath. And then the exhale slowly brings everything back down. Maybe opposite ear to the mat, or returning to the hands stacked, toes together, heels out. And just scan through the body. Notice what happens when we light up the back muscles. One more breath. And you'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and come into your downward facing dog. You can move through a puppy, a plank, lots of options, but make your way back to down dog. Bringing the big toes to touch, maybe it's like bending the knees to send the hips up high. We're going to start to target the side waist in this down dog. So we're going to start by walking the hands over towards the right, but then really return those hips up high and back. So a down dog, but reaching over to the right. So you might notice a nice stretch through the left side of the body here. Notice what's going on in the backs of the legs. Walking back through to centre. And then taking your hands over towards the left and then sending those hips up. So that inverted V shape, just a little slight variation in the centre as we reach over to this left side. And walking yourself back to centre in your normal down dog. Taking a breath or two here. Then you're going to anchor through the left heel, lift the right leg up nice and high, and stepping that right foot through to the top of the mat. Find your footing here, front knee over front ankle, energy out of the back heel, and again option to engage the core or bring the hands onto the thigh to help guide you up into our nice high lunge here. You feeling all good? That front knee over front ankle, stability in the legs. We can start to bring the arms here, but this time we're going to take the right arm forward and the left arm back. I'm going to start to flow with the breath. But first, straighten up the leg, this front leg. Take your right hand down and your left hand up. As you bend into your front leg, bring the left hand back and right arm forward. Straighten that front leg, right hand down, left hand up. If you start to come into the rhythm here, noticing the arms change position as we bend the knee and then straighten the leg. So legs, nice high lunge legs, transitioning into triangle legs. Once you've got that rhythm, you might incorporate the breath. So the inhale with the leg straightening, and then exhale with the knee bending. One more round of breath. When you next come to find your front knee bent, you will lower the back heel down and bring your hands up through the centre, and we find ourselves in our warrior one. So take a minute or two with the breath, just to feel the shape out. Notice what goes on in your centre as you lift up through that sternum, tailbone draws down. And then when you're ready, we'll open up to warrior two. So you might walk this left foot back a little bit more, turning the toes out, still bend into that front knee, arms out at shoulder height. It also sort of turns to the left as well. Warrior Two. Gaze to the front hand, take a breath or two here. Let's reverse this warrior, flipping the front palm, taking the right hand up and back hand resting on the back thigh or around the back of the body, reaching on up with that chest, chin comes slightly down, and feel this lovely stretch through this right side of your body. So observe your center in this reverse warrior. And then we'll transition into extended side angle by bringing the right elbow to the top of the right thigh, left hand reaching up to the ceiling or towards the top of the room, on the mat. You might be feeling good here, or an option is to come into a bind by taking this right hand underneath the right leg, left hand around the back, and you might be able to clasp the hands together. Your forehead might come down sort of as a humble warrior style, or you might open up and look to the side, so you can really open up through this left shoulder. If you get there and go, nope, not for me today, just return that elbow to the top of the knee, reaching on up or the front. Another option is to have the hands straight. Wherever you are, taking one more breath. And slowly unraveling, returning back to Warrior Two. And then we'll pivot, well, straighten the right leg first, pivot the toes, step the toes together, reach the arms up overhead. And we'll take our left wrist with our right hand and reach up towards the ceiling, then come over towards the right. Getting a nice side stretch here. Grounding down through both feet. Inhale helps you come back up. Swapping the hands over, really reaching up first with the inhale. Exhale over towards the left, bumping the hips to the right. Bottom armpit comes forward, top armpit back. Inhale brings you up to center. Bring the palms together, bring them down to your heart. And alongside you, and you're here in your mountain. Maybe close on the eyes and just take a moment. Standing up nice and tall. Using the breath into all parts of your center. And you're going to turn so that you are at the back of your mat and you've got the space to step forward. A balancing shape today will be Warrior Three. So options to bring the hands up, the hands shoulder width apart, or you might bring them to Steeple Mudra. So interlacing the fingers, index finger pointing up. Let's step onto the left foot, come up onto the toes of the right. So start to feel the activation in this left leg and the core is already switched on. Maybe this is where you're at today. And you're going to work on really lengthening up through the body and maybe slowly lifting those right toes up. If you want to go and explore a little bit further, reach on up on the inhale and exhale, pick the leg up and body down. Leg up, body down. And if this is where you're at today, this is where you stay. You might start to come into that capital T shape with the body as you reach forward and reach back. Hands can either stay here or come to heart space or aeroplane arms alongside you. If you've got that leg really lifting up, think about the toes of the right foot all pointing down towards the mat to bring your right hip in line with the left. Gaze forward rather than straight down and you'll go tumbling down. If you fall out, you can always come back in. And we'll take another breath here. Then on the inhale, you'll slowly rise back up, walking to the back of the mat. Take a moment in your mountain. And then we'll repeat on the other side. So taking the arms up if that felt good, or bringing them to heart. Stepping through on that right foot, come up onto the toes of the left. Feel the grounding and the balancing already happening in your legs, in your core, in your center before you start to move. The inhale helps you lift on up. The exhale, leg up, body down. Leg up, body down. Find that equal energy out of the front of the body and the back of the body. Hands play here, so work out where they want to go. toes pointing down, or eventually when you get those hips level, you can start to point the toes towards the back of the room. Using your core, your strength in your legs. One more breath. And now on your next inhale, slowly rising back on, up, find yourself in your mountain. Take a few quiet breaths. A gentle scan through the body. Observe sensations. Let go of any thoughts. And then when you're feeling ready, we're going to walk to the top of our mat so we can just flow on down and repeat on the other side. So if you've got the space, you can take your arms out wide or through the front. Reach on up. And then exhale, bring the hands down through the midline or take up space. Find your forward fold. Option to bring the hands to the mat. Either stepping the feet back one at a time for your plank, or come to the knees for tabletop. You can go straight to down dog. Or maybe you'd like to move through a flow, so if you're in your plank, you might lower to the belly, come into a cobra, and then make your way to down dog. Eventually we'll all come into a down dog, so that we can go through all of that on the left side. So when you're ready, and you're down dog, anchor through the right heel, lift the left leg up nice and high, three-legged dog, and step in your left foot through to the top of the mat. Once you've got your footing and you're feeling stable, strong in the legs, strong in the core, rise on up. A nice high lunge. Moving through that transition with the left arm forward this time, right arm back. And then straightening up that front leg, left hand down, right hand up. As you bend into the front leg, left arm forward, right arm back. Straighten the leg, left arm down, right arm up. Once you've got the rhythm, continue to move here. Using that breath. Inhale to straighten and reach on up. Exhale to bend as you reach in either direction, back and forth. One more round of breath. The next time you're in a nice slow lunge with that front knee bent, bring the right foot with the heel down, reach your hands up towards the ceiling, warrior one. Again, just take a few breaths here in this shape. And when you're ready, opening up to warrior two. So walking that right foot back, turning the toes out a little bit more, arms at shoulder height. Inhale, breath, and exhale. Reverse your warrior, flip that left hand, take it up to the ceiling and back, bending into that left knee still, right hand on the back thigh, or around the back of the body, reaching on up with that hand and chest, chin coming slightly down so that your neck's not going too far back. Breathing in this reverse warrior. And then transitioning to extended side angle by bringing that left elbow to the top of the left knee. Right hand reaching up or to the top of the room, mat. And maybe you're here today, or again the option to take the bind, so that right hand comes around to the back of the body. Left hand underneath the left thigh, so you can grab a hold of the hands. Opening up through the right shoulder. And breathing here, strong in the legs. At any point you need to come out, remember you can do so. Otherwise, one more breath. If you're in that bind, just gently returning back so that you can rise back up to warrior two. Taking that breath in and out. And then pivoting your left toes, stepping left toes to meet the right. We're back at the back of the mat with our arms reaching up. This time we'll grab the right wrist and reach up and over. Nice side stretch here. Next inhale brings you up, swapping the hands and the wrist. Inhale, reach up, and exhale to move into the side stretch. And then the inhale brings you back up. Hands will slowly come back down to heart. Take a moment in your mountain. A breath or two here. And then turning into a position where you've got space to step forward on your mat. And we'll do a warrior three one more time. So either arms are up overhead or hands at heart. We'll step through on that left foot first, come up onto the toes of the right. Inhale, we'll reach on up. And exhale, kick the leg up, body down. Leg up, body down. Play around with the hands. Where do you want to go to in this time? One more breath. And then slowly rising back up. Take a moment in your mountain at the back of your mat. And then we'll repeat on the other side. Arms up, we're at heart, we're ready to go at arrow arms. Stepping through on the right foot, toes of the left. Lift it on, up on the inhale. And exhale, bringing the leg up and the body down. Leg up, body down. Flying here, wobbles are okay. It's all good if you come out and you want to come back in. Walls are also really good. One more breath. Inhale, slowly rising back up. Take a moment in your mountain again. Then let's flow on down one more last time. So move to the top of your mat, so you can take your arms up overhead, salute the sun. Exhale, find your forward fold. Hands to the mat, stepping back to high plank or a table, straight to down dog, or move through your vinyasa, so belly to cobra, or maybe chaturanga to upward facing dog. Taking an inhale breath, exhale, making your way to down dog, or taking one more breath in that resting shape. We'll eventually come to down dog for a nice inhale breath, maybe a lion's breath out. Then shifting the weight forward into a high plank, or again option to lower the knees. We'll come into your forearms. I'm going to finish with some hip dips here. So, hands are either straight or on your forearms, and then lower your right hip down, through to centre, and then tapping left hip down. And then keep moving from side to side. Maybe counting up to 10. Using the breath to support you. Taking breaks at any time. Feeling the heat rising, core firing up. Even it out, so doing one more to each side. And then coming on, back down to your belly. When you're ready, Advasana. Deep, full, loving breaths. Option to stay here, feeling that heart beating in your chest. We'll do another back strengthening here. So you've got the option to repeat locust like we did earlier today, or bring your chin to the mat, arms alongside you. And we'll come into bow by kicking the feet in towards the glutes, reaching back to grab hold of the tops of the feet, Knees are no wider than hip distance. Feel yourself here. Empty out all the air. Then on your inhale, kick into the hands so you can start to rise on up into this bow shape here. You might notice you rock on your pelvis with the breath. If you're in locust, you're just reaching in both directions. Bow, you're kicking into the hands, lifting the knees up. One more breath. And then an exhale, slowly. Bring yourself back down or let go of those feet nice and slow. Return to Advasana, let the body come back to that neutral position for a breath or two here. Now locust and bow are deep back bends. So to counter that, we're going to do a forward bend. We're bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes. You can sort of push yourself back up. And then bring your knees together, toes together, hips towards your heels, arms alongside you, and come into a normal standard child's pose. Nice rounding sensation for the spine. Rounding in the shoulders, and allowing your forehead to kiss the mat, to allow the brain to know that it's time to just calm down. Deep, smooth breaths. One more loving breath in and out. And bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, slowly uncurling through the spine so you can come up to kneel. So our last little target here for the side of the body is going to be a side plank. Now we've got lots and lots of options. So we'll walk our hands forward. Just come onto a sort of low plank here. So option one is to take our gate pose like we did earlier. So we're all going to shift onto our right side. So if you wanted to do gate, you'll turn your right foot out towards the side and straighten out your left leg, bringing your right wrist below your right shoulder and reach the left hand up. So this is our bus stop 1. Bus stop 2, we'll straighten out the right foot, come up onto the side of it here, bringing our left foot and bending it at the front here, and reaching the hand up. Really lifting the right hip up and using that front leg to support. That's option 2. Option 3, come into a plank, come onto the side, outside the edge of your right foot, inside the edge of your left foot, and bring that left hand up. Lift that right hip up. Obliques are working here. If that feels good, option 3. Option 4 is to stack both your feet and reach on up. And then option 5, to lift that top foot. So, coming into your right side, the gate, that front leg bent. Take 3 breaths in any of those options. And slowly coming back through to center. Take a rest if you need. Or if you're ready, come through to the other side. Find that bus stop for you. Remembering that if you decide to go to 1 and it's too much, you can change. Otherwise, figuring out where you want to go, taking some breaths, lifting that bottom hip up away from the mat, slowly bringing the hand down, knees can come down, and take a rest. So maybe it's extended child's pose. Could be down dog if you prefer to rest in down dog. Could be a puppy with the hips lifted away from the heels. The side planks are really good for the centre, particularly our obliques and the side waist. And I just love that there's lots and lots of options, as every day can be different. Take one more resting breath. And then wherever you are, you're going to slowly rise on up. So you can swing onto one side, and then swinging the legs around. Last little bit for our core, our front, and our boat pose. So bring the soles of the feet to the mat, knees bent. So you're nice and tall, nice straight spine. Hands can come around to the backs of the legs, the thighs, and start to lean back, so you're kind of sitting on the very edge of your sit bones. You might come up onto the toes, start to light up that centre. Maybe you just lift one shin parallel to the ceiling. Maybe you lift both, and you can hold on here, it's fine. Or if you feel good here, you can start to let go of the thighs, reaching the arms forward. And the final option is to straighten the legs and the arms. So choosing a place here, and I'll count us for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those feet down. Knees can stay bent. You can wrap your arms around your knees. Bring your forehead down. And take some breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly uncurling, bring the legs out long. Keeping the left leg straight, we take the right foot up and over the left leg. Really push into that right big toe, and if that's all good here, then you can also have the option to bring that left foot and the heel close to that right hip. If that feels okay, stay here or keep that left leg long. Then we take our right hand and bring our hand quite close to our tailbone. Left arm hooks that right knee in. We start to lift up through the torso and start to twist towards the right. So inhale lifts you up, and exhale deepen into the twist. One more breath. Then bringing the chin back to centre first. Unravel the body, maybe a quick twist to the other side. And then bring the legs out long in front of you. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So keeping the right leg long, left foot up and over, planting big toe down. And then again, either right leg lifted or bend the knee around to the side. Left hand is going to place behind you. Right hand, right arm hooking the left knee. So you can really lift up and start to twist to the left. Another option is to take that right hand up towards the ceiling, bend the elbow and take it to the outside of that left leg. Taking a little merger with the hands or hugging the knee in. Using the breath, inhale, lift up, and exhale, deepen the twist. So think about the belly and ribs first. Inhale, lift up, and then exhale, maybe the right shoulder goes back a little more. Inhale, lift up, and then that gaze will go past that right shoulder. Gently bringing the chin back through, unravel a little counter twist to the right. And then coming back to centre, bring the legs out long and then take them out nice and wide. We'll finish seated here with a revolved head to knee. So we're going to keep the right leg long, either keeping the left leg long or you might need to bring it in here. You're going to turn your torso towards your left leg here. And then take your right hand down the right leg, flexing those right toes back towards you, and then taking this left hand up and reaching it towards your right toe here. So getting this lovely stretch from this left hip up the left side. So that right hand could be resting on the shin, maybe holding onto the ankle or the toes. A nice sort of length in the torso and reaching on over to the right. One more breath. And inhale helps you guide yourself back up. Either extending the left leg if it was bent, and bending the right if you like, or keep it long. Sitting up nice and tall, turning your torso towards your right leg this time. Taking your left hand down the left leg, turning your torso towards the right, so really open up through this right arm and shoulder before bringing it up towards the ceiling, reaching it towards the left toes. Careful in the neck, so don't let it hang, it's still an extension of your spine. Notice if you're rounding through that right shoulder, see it's how open you can go here. One more breath. And inhale to come back up. You can bring the legs back lat long, shaking it off, any sort of rubs you need. And then we'll come on to our backs. So coming down onto your back and just take a breath or two, feeling that earth below you. Maybe the knees are bent. You could take a rest here, or you might hug the knees into the chest, or draw little circles. We'll do one more core work, centre work to finish. Really good for our digestive system. So Pavanamuktasana, wind removing pose. So we'll extend through the left leg, flex those left toes back towards you, bend the right knee and draw that in towards your chest. So interlace your fingers around the top of the knee here. Your chin can be slightly tucked. Then we move with the breath. So we inhale to hold the knee where it is, and then exhale, draw that knee in closer and tighter as you kick out through the left heel. Inhale to hold where it is, then exhale, draw it in closer and tighter. One more time, inhale, and exhale, pull and compress, a lovely squeeze between that right thigh and right side waist. Releasing the hands, palms down alongside you, kicking right foot up towards the ceiling, flexing the toes back towards you, and then slowly and mindfully bringing that leg down to the mat so you control how fast or slow you go using your core muscles here. When that right foot kisses the mat, extend through that right heel, flex right toes back towards you, and then bend the left knee in towards your chest, interlace the fingers below the knee, and again move with the breath here. So inhale to hold, exhale, draw the knee in, kick out through the right heel. Inhale to hold, exhale, draw the knee in towards your centre. One more time, inhale to hold, and exhale, pull and compress, left side waist, getting that nice compression and massage. Then releasing the hands down alongside you, kicking the left foot up, flex left toes towards you, and energy out of that heel as you slowly begin to bring the foot down. Once that heel kisses the mat, you draw both knees in towards the chest this time, either holding onto the knees or opposite wrist, or maybe opposite elbow. If you need to pick up the head and shoulders, you can, but then always bring them back down. And then here we've got both knees in towards the chest, and again we move with the breath. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, draw both knees in. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Feel that lower back compressing with the mat. And a nice compression for your whole digestive system in your centre. Then releasing the hands, palms down to either side, or maybe shifting the hips side to side to bring the hands just below the glutes. Kicking feet up towards the ceiling, toes out, heels in, and then turning that core on, and then slowly start to bring the legs down. So you choose the pace, maybe you count. If you count from 10, always know that 5 is halfway. Maybe you hover the feet just an inch or two off the mat, that last little bit, and then slowly bringing them down. Take the hands out if they're underneath you, and come into your final Shavasana here. Legs are long, arms are out alongside you. Close down your eyes and take some quiet breaths here. As always, take the longest Shavasana you would like. So you can pause the video here. We've got places to be, just a couple more breaths. And then I invite you to remain on your back. Just bring your hands together, thumbs to the third eye, and just take a moment to acknowledge yourself and others for showing up for you. And I close by saying the awesome in me recognizes and respects the awesome in you. Until next time, namaste.